The government is considering the establishment of a new committee tasked with appraising accounting officers across the country as part of a concerted effort to improve service delivery. This move, revealed by the head of public service, Lucy Nachobe, aims to hold accounting officers to higher standards of accountability and performance. Speaking at a 2-week retreat organized by the Ministry of Local Government for Accounting Officers at the National Leadership Institute in Changkwanzi, Nachobe emphasized the need for these officers to meet performance targets. She made it clear that any accounting officer who fails to meet at least 50% of their performance targets would be required to resign. Benjamin Kumumanya, the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Local Government, expressed full support for the government's initiative to hold accounting officers accountable. He, however, also underscored the importance of addressing the challenges accounting officers face in the field. Key concerns raised by the accounting officers included the need for salary enhancements to match the demands of their roles, as well as lack of transport for inspecting and monitoring government projects.
For example, the issue of transport. If a cow does not have a vehicle, but we expect him to be moving around, checking on health centers, on schools, on towns, it will be very difficult. So this will help us to come out with a clear position, bonded together to improve service delivery in the county.
Kampala Capital City Authority says the decommissioning of the Kiteezi landfill has come to a stop due to bureaucratic procedures and laws. This was revealed by the Minister of State for Kampala, Kabuye Chiofa-Togabye, while appearing before the Parliamentary Committee on Physical Infrastructure, chaired by MP Dan Kimosho. He told the committee that KCCA wanted the decommissioning of Kiteezi to be done quickly, but it was halted by a section of people who raised conflicting issues and threatened to drag him to courts of law.
Only that sometimes what is done in this country is amazing. You move 10 steps, then they take you negative 19. We thought we were handling an emergency only to hit a deadlock, which near actually, I don't know, questioned me what, even to be prosecuted, doing this, a lot of statements on my head, which I didn't know. I realized, okay, this country just be, let's so be and work progress. But a lot is being done because we have a roadmap.
Maybe take us through.
Yes.
You hit a dead end. What was a dead end?
The Deputy KCCA Director, Benon Moses Chigenyi, said they are waiting for the government chief valuer to compute the amount needed to compensate the people around Kiteezi landfill in order to go ahead with the activities of decommissioning the landfill.
We have approached the CGV to value the properties that were destroyed in the Kiteezi disaster, and this has not yet been given to us. Because of this, we have not been able to say with precision when we'll be able to completely pay off these people.
President Yoweri Museveni has advised African nations to join forces in intelligence gathering in order to combat the new wave of terrorism threats. President Museveni notes that renowned terror groups, including Al-Shabaab and ISIS, among others, have evolved in their tactics and are becoming more complex, which requires equal counter-interventions to neutralize. Museveni has tasked the African nations to develop robust intelligence measures with global intelligence agencies to address the vulnerabilities of the continent. His message was delivered by Prime Minister Robin Nabanja at the opening of the 49th Eastern and Southern Africa Anti-Money Laundering Group Conference at the Commonwealth Resort in Munyonyo.
The rapid digitalization of sub-Saharan Africa has opened up new avenues for terrorist groups to recruit, radicalize, and fundraise online, presenting fresh challenges for counter-terrorism efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, Uganda, like other ESMLAC member states, has undertaken significant steps to combat money laundering and terrorism financing threats. We have strengthened our legal frameworks, established and strengthened the relevant institutions.
Uganda has launched an ambitious malaria vaccine introduction targeting 1.1 million children under 2 years in 105 districts. The R21 Matrix M malaria vaccine, administered in 4 doses, will provide vital protection against malaria, which is the leading cause of illness and death among young children in Uganda. According to the Minister of Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, the introduction of the vaccine marks a significant milestone in Uganda's fight against malaria. It is expected to prevent at least 800 cases of severe malaria among children every day and ease the financial burden on families, she said. Gov't, the Vaccine Alliance, has provided essential financial support for the procurement, transport, and rollout of the vaccine doses. President Donald Trump has announced new import taxes on all goods entering the United States in the biggest upheaval of the international trade order since the aftermath of World War II. His plan sets a baseline tariff of 10% on all imports, consistent with his proposal during last year's White House campaign. Goods from about 60 trade partners that the White House described as the worst offenders, including the EU and China, face higher rates, which Trump refers to as payback for unfair trade policies. Analysts say the trade war escalation was likely to lead to higher prices for Americans and slower growth in the U.S., while some countries around the world could be plunged into recession. For more stories and the latest updates, log on to sanufm.com.